Welcome back to Post-it. Sorry about this episode being one day late, time just ran away with me. If you're struggling to put your ideas for a short film together, one crucial step that will make everything easier progressing forward is creating a Bible. Now, a Bible is a written document where you compile together all your ideas to establish basically your bottom lines, your fundamentals of your film. This includes things like character, the actual world and the systems of the world that they exist in, and the key plot points. So most importantly, character. It's useful to note the key traits of each character and their relationships with each other, their flaws, their goals, their inspirations, and most importantly, their bottom lines. This is the one thing or trait that stays true about a character throughout the whole film and that stays constant despite their personal growth in other areas. The world of the film is really important to establish as well. This could be a world completely unlike our own, and it's important that all the details of that are included in the Bible. This includes major things like if your world is set in a dystopian future and there's an oppressive government, what are the rules of this government, how are the people affected, what's the overall context of your film. But it also includes the more detailed things about the micro world that your characters exist in, the types of people that they're surrounded by in their everyday lives. And then it's also important to note the world that they enter throughout the course of the film, the new strange places they go and the strange people they meet. And then it's important to get your narrative down. In my experience, my own films usually start with a key narrative point or idea that sparks the creative development for the rest of the film, and this should be the top point of your narrative section. And then after that, any key points of the narrative it's useful to start mapping those down below. Now obviously I am a young filmmaker and my storytelling has got a long way to go, but what I found it really interesting and useful to do recently is to follow a really strict narrative structural template. These basically map out the common narrative points in a 3-act structure to create a really tight narrative. So I would often copy these into my Bible and map out my narrative very strictly against them, which I find quite a helpful technique. Certainly I'll make a more detailed video in the future about these narrative structural templates and why they interest me so much. But feel free to disregard that completely. They are just templates, and to be honest, you'll probably make a much more interesting story working away from those sorts of things. That being said, however, you need to know the rules to break them, which is a topic for another video as well. It's important in the early stages to keep fleshing out those 3 sections of character, world, and narrative. The Bible should be a reference point to which you can go back to at any time, which is important for the story staying in the direction that you initially wanted to take it. Again, you can completely disregard the rules here and just find your story as it goes along, which I've done a number of times and has worked very well. But if I find I want to make something really structured and powerful and clever, it's essential to create the Bible and importantly set your premise. In a way, the whole point of the Bible is to find the premise, which is the key driving, essence of the film and what it's about. They say that the premise of your film should be summed up in one line, a nutshell sentence. Almost like a log line or tagline, but something that really gets to the core of what emotionally or thematically the film is about. For example, the log line of The Godfather is: the aging patriarch of an organized crime dynasty? The aging patriarch of an organized crime dynasty transfers control of his clandestine empire to his reluctant son. And so that's immediately telling you, the audience, that the key themes are about power, about family relationships, how power is passed down through family relationships, and so these points are always going to be central to the narrative. The Bible is also generally used in the making of the other pre-production documents, so that everything works together and you're not going off in odd strands or directions. This is especially important when collaborating on scripts, when you really need everyone to be on the same wavelength, which is essentially what the Bible is about. I believe they're absolutely crucial on TV series where keeping up with that extended narrative needs to be put down into Bibles. The Bible should be a really clear and easy to use document that can be used to show anyone on production exactly what the essence of the film is about. I think it's particularly important for young filmmakers in that it really makes you hone your own idea about what your film's about. It's easy enough to come up with a narrative you want to tell, but working through those thoughts in the form of a Bible really helps to move it from a great film to an excellent film. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Post-it, and I'll see you in the next one.